Paul, welcome to New Zealand. Thank you for sparing time to come and see us.
Thank you very much, too.
You work in Uganda. Tell us a bit about Restore Africa, which is one of the projects you're involved with.
Restore Africa Ministries is a rural ministry that plants churches in rural, remote areas of Uganda. We have a concern for rural pastors, mainly who are independent, and also the Christian education, that is schools, Christian education through schools, primary schools. And yeah, those are our main objectives. Leadership training for the pastors in the areas, and church planting with education.
Because in rural Uganda, I guess there are some unique problems there, because it's a vast area, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And we probably have no idea of the sort of distances involved. But what sort of distances are involved?
I mean, when you put it in terms of distance, I think people here cannot really understand. But the infrastructure of a country like Uganda, we are talking of a country which is neighbored by Kenya, Sudan in the north, and DRC in the west, and Tanzania in the south. This is a small little country. But when we talk of the infrastructure there, it's actually, don't get it in terms of the Western world. It's a difficult place to go to, and probably not many pastors would love to go to. I mean, nobody would love to be in such a place. The roads are very bad. The incomes of the people are very poor. Transport and communication is really very, very bad. So people who can sustain being there are really must be very committed individuals. And then the tribal groups into which we operate have different ways. Like one of the tribal groups which takes or captures the biggest part of which we operate is pastoral. I mean, they move from place to place. It means when it rains, they move with their cattle, and then the church moves.
Oh.
The church will move.
So it's not where you left it.
Definitely. So you have to move with them. You have to move with them, and then you have to endure a lot. And then you can usually say even they have no work, because you don't see in some places permanent structures. You will not see them, but church will move with the people. But in other areas, the conditions might allow simple shelters, and in difficult, people do their peasant activities to survive.
Let's talk a bit about Uganda since Idi Amin, because I think for many people that was actually the last time Uganda figured in world events.
Exactly.
Was Idi Amin's rise and fall. He was. You would have been at school, I guess.
No. I was actually 4 years, I think, when he came to power in 1972. But the funny thing about that is that many major dictators of the world influence children when they are young. So, like many other dictators around the world, Idi Amin was known to us as a big daddy. Big daddy means someone who gives you sweets for free and who prays around with you, and he's a good man. So that picture went around until 1979, when we saw him gone, and then we had the stories. We knew that bullets to pass on the street or someone to die on the street was something normal, because you grew up seeing it. Vandalism, street gangs, robbing cars, and killings were all around. But as a child, you think it was a normal thing. It was okay, But so we never knew much about until he had gone. Until he had gone. Immediately afterwards, there was a real move of God, which really, some of us came through that. The first 10 years of the 1980s brought hope with Reverend Bunky and T.L. Osborne, along with others who came with the fire word, which brought hope to many young people like me. However, the next decade now requires us to do quite a lot, apart from the active way of evangelism to a more effective way of evangelism. And from the way I see it, is like making church more effective in terms of reaching out to the community, probably through education and the training that is required in place to bridge the leadership gap, both in social, political, and economical.
Because you trained in Adelaide, didn't you?
Yes, I had a chance after a bit of a struggle. A couple phoned me planting a church in one of the suburbs in Kampala, brought me up in Adelaide, and had a training in Tabo College in Adelaide. That's 10 years ago.
I would guess that's a real
Yeah,
good start.
not many have had that chance, which I praise God for. And yes, it was also a challenge to come to a place out of a place where things are operate so differently, and into a vast world. I mean, it was such a kind of experience, but at the same time, it was a challenge for me to go back because, while many of us would love to stay in America and UK after such a chance, I really felt in my spirit the Lord was directing me to go back and play a role, especially in education and the leadership of the pastors there. You know, I thought with that I could go back and help my country.
I know one of the things that you're involved with is children with HIV/AIDS.
Yes.
That's a huge issue, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, at the moment it's like it's not there because the ARVs have come up. Now, today, many look healthy, and then the record have shoot back. People now have gone back to their ways. And then the children in villages where we operate, the sad thing is that the children are left with the grandmothers. And it means then those will look for work in towns. So the vast 60% of the Ugandans rural have old grandma and grandparents with all these children. And survival is difficult, very difficult. So our school recommends church pastors to give us those children who are really vulnerable, who are poor, who are orphaned with HIV. And we have 57 of them out of the 211 children that we have in our area of operation.
That's quite an operation to run, isn't it?
It is. It is.
How is that funded? Is that?
I just went by faith, and graciously I survived by well wishes. I have no sure funding, just grace of God. It's day by day we see provisions. Hard to understand, but for those who have visited a small project, that's how we have, you know. And by the grace of God, the last 10 years we've seen just God's provision, just each day a miracle. And there was lots of expectations, but God has really helped me to trust Him in every way to feed and take care of these children, you know. And in a way, we've taken it over up to this day. Very miraculous.
That's an amazing
Very
story.
miraculous, yeah.
Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much too.